Hello. Oh, wait a minute. Something in my throat. Hello.
Ooh, you cut the
I
Zack
am.
Snyder's, didn't you?
I am the one they call Zackman. I am Zackman.
You,
Batman's equivalent to the poor man when he needs something else. And this is Zackman's partner in crime.
I'm a sidekick now? Ooh, does that mean I get my own Batgirl uniform?
Only when you pass the test.
Whoa, little guy. Sorry about that. Our little pet
And
Rancor's going crazy.
And Zack Dog is going into the wires because he can't stay 5 minutes without attention.
You know, ironically, that would make him the third Bat Hound in canonical history.
Well, that's fine because Bloodhound is cool. Then Zack Dog, seriously, Zack Dog, you have to. If he needs to be there while we do the review, he can be there while we do the review.
Oh, what's the matter, baby? Haven't eaten enough fucking Bubba Fetts yet?
Zack Dog. What is wrong, Zack Dog? You're irritating Zack Man right now.
What's the matter?
With you and your cute face.
Did Superboy's gay twink lover fall down a well again?
Jherick just walked you. Why are you unhappy? He let you do your pee and poop.
You know.
No reason to be unhappy. No one talking about you instead of the movie. Ah!
Love me, Bat Whore. Love me like you love your Catwoman.
I love you, Zack Dog. I love you. Oh, but anyway, we will try to do it. Just don't mind Zack Dog here. As he screams to be an attention whore all the time.
Aw, look at you. He's channeling his inner Batmite.
I'm surprised he hasn't jumped on you yet, Jherick. That's what's surprising.
I know, somebody's learning more restraint. Unlike our president.
That or he can't get up. Well, that's something we'll have to deal with on the other time, because we think Darkseid's doing it. Batman just won't let us join the group because he says we're too much of a liability risk. You were only playing with his rockets for like 5 minutes, and only one went off, and it only hit the top of the keel of the cave. Nothing caved in, really.
I mean, come on, who's gonna miss Russia, am I right?
Well, you didn't really have them aimed at Russia. They were more aimed at, well, maybe they were aimed at Russia, I forget. Russia and I think, the White House, respectively, but oh well.
Yeah, I mean, Russia, California, you know, it just kind of gets lost in all the geography jargon.
It does. Well, now that we've had 2 minutes of Bat Dog and us talking about launching our missiles, notwithstanding, do not repeat this to anyone, basically, we are here to talk about Jherick and Zackman, to talk about a great movie from 1971. A movie where a man talking as low as me, but a little less gravelly and sounds like he doesn't have throat cancer. Basically, Dirty Harry.
Harry Callahan.
Oh, yes.
He's like right up there in the pantheon of male badassery along with Jack Bauer, Batman, Brock Sampson. You know, basically anything Dolph Lundgren's ever been in.
Well, basically, just like how he stopped the bank robbers, I will do my best to say the iconic line. And now let me get that more into the voice now. Now I know what you're thinking. Did he fire 6 shots or only 5? Well, to tell you the truth, in all this excitement, I sort of forgot myself. Now you have to ask yourself the question is, do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
I think he also mentioned that it was a, what was it,
Oh
44?
yes, the 44 Magnum, the most powerful handgun in the world, and can blow your head clean off.
Which technically at the time the 44 was, but, you know, that was until the 50 caliber Smith & Wesson 500 showed up.
Yep, which they... Ew, whoopsie. Broke character there, guys. Tell no one I'm not trying to be cool. But maybe I am.
Don't worry, he's just getting a bad case of the Batman Brave and Bold.
Oh yeah. Well, that was more like this. And more like, what's his name? Adam West, dicky old chum, which I guess I could do.
Hey, I kind of wonder, you know, what was the weirdest Aquaman? That version or like any other? Because I'll be honest, seeing him happy and relaxed, kind of weird, but I don't know, I could go for it.
Well, old chum, it may be one thing or it may be not, but Aquaman was a fine guy, a very fine guy. Now we have to make sure we keep watch of the Riddler. You never know what he'll be up to, Jherick. Old chum.
I almost feel like somebody just gave him a little too much Super Friends juice before the show.
A little.
Like, what's this weird rainbow-colored shit? I don't know,
It's Nintendo 64, old bean. That's all it is.
'Tis Super Friends juice. Everything is bright and cheery. And Batman's like, you better fucking snap out of it, man.
But either way, yes, that was the quote, and I did forget the little bit of it there. And to basically re-say it once again. Now I know what you're thinking. Did he fire 6 shots or only 5? Well, to tell you the truth, in this excitement, I've almost forgot myself. But this is a 44 Magnum, the most powerful handgun in the world that can blow your head clean off. You have to ask yourself the question: do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
And I love the little smirk he gives the guy after he's like, nah, I fired 6.
Oh yes, old chum. That is the one thing, is I did fire 6, and if you count it in the movie, he did. But anyway, great iconic thing for a movie, and basically to go over the plot really quick of the film, all it is basically Harry Callahan trying to track down the known killer in San Francisco known as Scorpio. That's they just call him the killer in the credits, but his name is Scorpio, based off the Zodiac killer, as he goes around killing people, trying to collect at the time $200,000, which for 1971, old chum, was a lot of money.
Scorpio, huh? Funny, I thought it was the Virgos and Libras that were psychos.
Well, nobody knows. In fact, nobody really knows of the real Zodiac killer, because sadly, they never caught the man.
Yeah, I mean, and it's also kind of funny, because I also see, like, parallels with the Son of Sam as well, kind of a spoiler warning for the movie, by the way, if you haven't seen it, but the kid's kind of like a well-dressed, well-to-do college student, soft-spoken. Everybody kind of likes him.
Well,
very unassuming.
Well, believe it or not, friend, in the audio commentary, Richard Schickel, the film historian and friend of Clint Eastwood, said he is based off of several people: the Zodiac Killer, the Son of Sam, and I think they even said they put a little bit of the Ted Bundy likeness in there, given how, Andy Robinson actually looks like a very well-to-do, nice guy, but is actually a complete psychopath in the film, and that's quite the scary thing. But as they try to track Scorpio down, and this whole movie, vis-a-vis with Harry Callahan, his partners, and then the police department does. His partners work for him, but the police department, the mayor, the law's office, the DA, it's all about how you try to catch a criminal, but if you don't play within the red-taped rules, the criminals can play the system and keep getting away. And that's the thing. Anytime Scorpio does something, the mayor, the police lieutenants, the chiefs, the DA's office, they all give in to him because Harry Callahan went a little too far in trying to obtain and arrest Scorpio.
And you know what I love about this movie? I love how the killer is like, he always acts calm and cool when he's in control, when things are going according to plan. But then the second shit goes wrong, you just see him flip. He's angry, he's petulant, he's childish, he's theatrical. And spoiler warning again, this guy, what college you
Talking about the Robinson. Sure, but I think
was?
No. Literally not as much is known about this character. So they say that he had to have a degree of like sort of I think it was oh no, you're thinking of his partner Chico Gonzalez, who was a sociology major.
Well,
you're thinking of Chico.
if you observe like the Scorpio killer, you can see this guy's got an ego problem. He's narcissistic. He's also openly racist. I mean, Jesus.
Well, for someone who is that psychotic, easily understandable because the way Andy Robinson played the character was that in control, he's calm, cool, and malicious. But then when he gets a little too happy or out of control, as Bat Dog barks in the background, I'm sorry about that there, you have basically a man who becomes like a child and completely out of control, as some insane minds do, from what we've heard and read and seen. And sadly, that just goes along with it. To the point to where you get to the crescendo of the movie after Scorpio, who wants to get his money at any cost, kids that kidnaps a bunch of kids. Harry Callahan has had enough messing around with this, I will basically say it, motherfucker, and takes matters into his own hand with a gun chase scene that also involved actual Clint Eastwood, Harry Callahan on top of a bus, going into a quarry to their final showdown to where flippin' he didn't get his brains blown out like he said, his head blown off, but he got a pretty big bullet through the chest going into the lake of the quarry and floating there dead. So Scorpio got what he deserved.
Let's just say a bitch got bowered, you know what I mean?
Oh yes, Jherick, yes indeed. And of course the iconic line was said again, but this time much more threatening and not really a lot of playing around. So it was basically like, do you feel lucky, punk? Do you? It was basically like the iconic line he says in another one of his movies, go ahead, make his day. And oh, Scorpio did, thinking he had a chance, and he died laughing while he did so.
And you know, I love that
yes.
scene earlier in the movie when he corners him on the football stadium because they found out that apparently he's living like on the premises with a faculty member near the football stadium.
Yes, Keyshaw Stadium, the 49ers old stadium. Thank you, Gray Fox 57, for pointing that out to me years ago.
And I love how he gets him cornered in the guy's like begging for his life after he's already, and Harry's like wants him to spill the beans, like where did you put the girl, because he's got like a girl confined in I forget if it's like a sewer line or something, but she's running out of oxygen. He's the only guy who knows the location. He threatening not to give her oxygen and shit to survive, and he's like, where's the girl? And he's like, don't hurt me. You have to let me live.
I want a lawyer.
So I believe he shot him.
I'm in pain. You tried to kill me.
And I believe he shot him in the leg, and he's like stepping on it. And he just refuses. It's like, give me what I want. Me. And this girl's dying. And later, you see them pull this girl out, and yeah, she's pale. She's dead. You could tell. But the whole time, it's all about him. It's like, oh, you tried to kill me. You hurt me. It's like,
if I did that, your brains would have been splattered all over this field.
And the funny thing is, the whole time you're just seeing this kid all about him. It doesn't matter that he's already killed, like, I think at least 2 people before he got to that girl.
Yes.
Doesn't matter that he's kidnapping kids. It's just like, me. I'm just going to take a shot in the dark here and say he must have been a liberal arts major.
Oh.
No reason.
Well, yes, old chum, quite a deduction. But anyway, that is the film in a nutshell. Not really much of a whole different parts of a story, simple and straightforward, but basically one of where what would happen if the cops stopped playing by the red tape all the time and did things more for the people to protect the people of the city he served. Not quite bad when you think about it, because sadly, even in 1971, the bureaucracy was being taken advantage of, and they do talk about that in the audio commentary in the special features. It was something that even Zach Bad's grandma pointed out, saying that's why she liked the film, because finally a cop was doing something and they weren't being tied down by all the rules that a criminal could hide behind, which boy, we could do more of that today.
And they even mentioned that in the special features section about how the movie was kind of a repudiation, the voice of the people, about how they get sick and tired of the criminals using the system against them, and the system worrying more about the criminals than the victims.
Oh yes, and then I guess that would be a great segue to talk about the characters of this movie. Obviously, I will start. Clint Eastwood, that goes without saying. Dirty Harry Callahan. What I could say about the man is, when he did his westerns, the spaghetti westerns with Sergio Leone, Clint Eastwood was already a superstar at that point, because they had made big in Italy and Europe, and in America. Harry Callahan made this man an instant legend overnight, because wow, did people gravitate towards this character. Now, granted, the band for No Name is synonymous in film history, is legendary. But oh, if you want to talk about someone that anyone knows, even if you haven't seen the film series, you know Harry Callahan.
And you know, the funny thing is, and most people are not going to believe this, but this was actually kind of a controversial movie because even like in the early 70s, there was still a lot of flack about too much violence and too much of the gratuitous
this
stuff.
Film is tame by today's standards.
I mean, heck, people are going to think I'm joking about this, but the second Doctor Who got a lot of shit from England because they thought his series was too violent. It was too action-oriented. I mean, people back in the day, they were more liberal about the whole PG-13R thing, but they still got a lot of shit.
Well, if they wanted to see violence, have they not seen any of the Stephen Moffat era? Me and my friends talk about how Stephen Moffat loves to kill a lot of his characters.
Oh, dude. Check out Homestuck. Andrew Hussey kills fucking everybody. Nobody's safe.
Indeed.
Or as that one gremlin from Gremlins 2 put it, I believe there's also a lot of street crime. Oh, but I think we can watch that for free.
Yes. That is quite good indeed, old chum. Very good. And so, that goes without saying for Clint Eastwood. If there's another one I could probably point out, it definitely has to be Andy Robinson as the killer Scorpio. What a performance. If you wanted a villain you could really hate this man. He plays it off so well and so distastefully evil. If anyone says they like this character for the sake of liking him, I think you need to be checked into a psychiatric ward, because you can like him for being a villain, but if you ever liked him for who he was, no.
I'm going to say, not quite Tim Curry or Jack Nicholson, but, ooh, boy, I don't know if it's art, but I like it.
Well, I don't know if you knew this, but Andy Robinson only did about 2 or 3 films before he went on to be a acting professor at UCLA. And believe it or not, the other famous film he did was he was Lawrence, the father of the daughter, in Hellraiser before his brother Frank kills him and sadly takes his skin. And is still portraying Lawrence, but Lawrence was dead. But that was who Andy Robinson played. So he had the iconic line, if you remember from that movie, "Jesus wept," before getting pulled apart. Just a little fun fact there.
From a creepy, selfish, childish, perverted serial killer to a creepy, perverted, childish, selfish serial killer.
Yeah, pretty much. Except that was him emulating Frank.
It was a real nuanced role that stretched his acting credentials. Hey, big ups, dude. I used to hang out with actors, okay?
Well, you were very subtle there with the stretchy, considering what happened in Hellraiser. But other than that, a great performance by Andy Robinson, one that is memorable, and he definitely should be up there. I know some people don't consider the cop movies of the 70s to be action films because they were more detective-oriented, and personally, in my opinion, I miss that. I miss the realism to some action movies, but they were considered action movies. They just were not as... We didn't have the stylized action until, I think, the late 70s and early 80s, because that's when stylized action films like Lethal Weapon and Die Hard came out more. But I have to say, people, I miss the original attempted action movies in the 60s and 70s where more detective work was taken into account, because it was cool seeing what, in my opinion, what cops really did.
And you know what I really loved about this movie was how they did the lighting. I mean, none of, like, the exaggerated lighting or smoke effects, just very natural light from the areas. And I even love how they worked around some of the censorship, like the football scene where he's stepping on the leg he shot. They kind of, like, do this creepy, slow pan out with just the natural darkness just kind of covering the whole football stadium. It's actually a pretty cool shot, and it's a simple way of just getting around the whole you can't show torture on movie thing.
Yes, well, again, 1971, that was standards. Nowadays, no one seems to care about those standards, but that was 1971, old chum.
And, you know, no lighting up the night shots, which makes it more realistic.
Well, that's how Don Siegel and Clint Eastwood wanted it. The director and Clint Eastwood, who was the producer of these films, wanted it to be shot that way, natural lighting to give off a feel, because again, San Francisco was the character. And let's see, if there's one other person, I mean, a lot of these roles were good, but if there's one other person I could point out is, you probably know him from one of his most famous roles, Revenge of the Nerds, but John Larch played the mayor, and I have to say, was it John Larch? or no, John Vernon. Yes, John Larch was the police chief, but John Vernon played the mayor. And you want to talk about a man who's a complete bureaucrat, not in control of the situation? That was him, and he has a presence on screen for the little bit of time that he was there. But Harry Callahan always stood up to him. He always couldn't deal with it because, as the mayor, he's like, all right, I don't know what to do. Let's just keep giving in. Why stop a psychopath?
And you know what I love about this, and I know I'm going to get some hatred for this. This took place in, like, San Francisco, right?
Yes, San Francisco, 1971.
Which, as I recall, would be not too far away from the election of Harvey Milk as mayor of San Francisco.
Mm.
And later, the Jim Jones disaster, which Harvey Milk totally had no hand in at all, whatsoever. None. Don't watch Razor Fist video about it later.
Note his quotations.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not using Dr. Evil air quotes for nothing here.
Yes, and you know that's sort of the thing, and you know that's the power of these characters, and like I said, the realism of which I miss. And basically, we could go up with final thoughts since we talked about the other two main important things, plot and characters. Great movie overall. I would absolutely say a 10 out of 10. A great film that really cemented its time. Yes, the film is dated. Yes, you can tell it's 1971. But I look at it as history. I look at it as how we did the cop films back then, where you got to know the detective look. You got to know the inside of the departments. Again, I miss on-location shooting. That's what I love about the Dirty Harry series. That's what I love about, what was it? French Connection. Bullet, the 7-Ups with Roy Scheider, if you've never seen a great movie too. And they used actual on-location shots in New York, San Francisco. Now granted, different time. They want so much money now if you ever do on-location shooting in any city now, because cities want to milk it for what it's worth. No honor among thieves, eh?
Milk me for all that sweet, sweet Hollywood money.
Absolutely, my chum. The sweet, sweet money. And you know, it's just, for me, a great film overall, 10 out of 10. Just great lines, great one-liners for Clint Eastwood, great performances by all the actors involved, not just Clint Eastwood. Great portrayal of San Francisco before everything even went more batshit than it already was. And
I know, right?
and, you know, just great stuff. Cinematography, direction, the music by Lalo Schifrin, the Scorpio's theme was the main attraction in that movie. You know,
and hey, you kids want to know how old I am? I'm old enough to remember those ugly ass fucking wool 70s coats they were wearing in the movie. I'm old enough to remember all of that shit. The old cars, the buildings, the frankly disgusting use of yellow and green on fucking every building. I mean, people, you want to know how old I am? I'm old enough to fucking remember when you could get comic books at your grocery store for $0.25.
Well, there you go. And any other final thoughts besides what I mentioned, Jherick, that you would like to mention?
You know, I'm just going to say this. People have no idea how much of a hardcore badass Clint Eastwood is. Cinematographer, mountain climber. This guy has done so much shit. I feel like when the movie of his life comes out, just give that shit the Oscar. Just pour Oscars all over that.
Oh yes, well, like,
as useless as the Oscars are now.
Well, like Clint Eastwood said, and I guess it's a good thing to say this. He didn't make movies just for the sake of making movies. He did movies because he liked the project, or he liked what the movie was about. It wasn't about what can make him the next big celebrity or star. If he likes something, he likes something. And Eastwood has gone on record and say, if you like my movies, you like my movies. If you don't, I like what I did.
Yeah.
So he has a lot of hidden gems out there, folks. And believe me and Jherick or whoever else, we shall talk about them. Because as you've seen, we've already done The Rookie. We've done, I know you wanted to pop for them, Jherick, but we've done Pink Cadillac, The Gauntlet. And now we're on the Clint Eastwood films. And believe me, when I get to the other genres of films I own, Clint has a ton of dramas. He's directed, he's acted in a couple other action films in there, some science fiction. He's got horror in there. Play Misty for me. Oh, I cannot wait for that one.
You know,
suck it, Fatal Attraction. You were good, but like, what is it? Glenn Close and Michael Douglas have nothing over Clint Eastwood and Jessica Walter.
Steven Spielberg makes amazing movies and cartoons. Clint Eastwood makes amazing movies and shows, and he stars in them. He does his own stunts. He helps set up the cinematography. This man is a man of all seasons in acting.
He wanted to know all about film. That was his whole thing. He loves the entire process. He does not lie. He's been a part of editing and music and everything like that.
Take notes, Kojima. You could learn a thing or two.
Indeed, indeed. Well, now that you've had our final thoughts, that is pretty much it. So, you've heard mine and my old chum Jherick here. So, what do you guys think? And if you want the old voice back, what do you guys think? Do you like Dirty Harry? Is this a movie you want to have and vote for?
Man,
sorry, I didn't sandpaper my throat enough.
we gotta get you treated for that Zack Snyder syndrome, man. That's just gonna kill you.
No. This is, this is more Michael Keaton, like, down low and dirty. But, I guess I should have just done a low version of me. But no, if you wanted Zack Snyder, it's gonna be more down here! Where is he? I'm Christian Bale!
Why did you say her name?
Why did you say that name?
I'm sorry.
Or you could be terribly dubbed over like Ben Affleck.
Hey,
because I'm not on a voice modulator.
Just be thankful this review wasn't dubbed by 4 kids.
I'm going to break character here, guys. Hold on. Basically, as me breaking character finally, as you heard me do once already, guys, just wait till we get to Batman. I'm pretty sure me and Jherick here will make fun of it. Boku and Jherick will not let that shit go. I don't own any of the new Batman films. If there was one of the new ones I wanted to get, Batman Begins is where I stopped. And considering where it went, I haven't even bothered with it, really, because it's like, I know, and yes, you could say, well, Zach, you've done it for Star Wars. I'm like, I know, I have the Star Wars trilogy, but the thing is, as a kid, I loved the original Batmans, and hey, but, this is a side tangent I don't want to get into. We were about to end the review, and this is about Clint Eastwood, and we're not going to saddle DC into his flame as we're starting to do. Sorry there, Dirty Harry and Clint, did not mean to do that, and
we apologize.
And holy shit, the sun is getting into the camera, you can see purple. I apologize, guys, if you see that purple line in the camera when you watch this. I'm not trying to be trippy, but that is literally the sun, I think, fucking with it. So, what's in it now? This is 012 Boku, and
this is your favorite asshole 76.
Jherick. And like I said, just leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think about Dirty Harry, and we'll see you again next time, alright?
Deuces.
Deuces. Hey, you remembered.